Got it face moi. Got it face Richard. It's five of us in here today.
Oh, I see.
We're having a fun time tonight. We're drinking Coke. We haven't drink Coke forever. Are we live?
Yeah.
It's the back with Sip and Read. Sorry for the delay. Technical issues. There's always a problem when you're dealing with computers and technologies and the internet. There's always something. So I'm gonna allow, author, Mister. Let's just sip and to welcome him to Sip and Read. How are you, sir?
Thank you. How you
How
guys
are
doing?
you? Welcome to
Well,
Sip
I'm
and
well.
Read,
I'm well.
and thank you for the time.
Thanks for having me.
Has Before you tell people who you are, how do you pronounce your name? Just the way it looks?
Richard Jeanty.
En Creole.
Richard Jeanty.
Richard Jeanty.
Yeah.
Faut nous mettre accent sur lui, oui, parce que
Oui, Jeanty.
Monsieur Saré met les bagages, les présenter le bien. Richard Gentil, nous avons Richard ensemble avec nous. Et il est là pour une spéciale occasion qui c'est encore indépendance nous, Haïtiens, peuple haïtien. Parce qu'il écrit un livre qui relève A Time for Revenge, The Black Revolution. Je veux dire, ça n'a fait n'appli un chapitre, un paragraphe, et puis n'a demandé Richard des questions. Mais m'a quitté Betty commencer avec M. Richard, et puis n'a pas avancé avec Shoah.
Avant que nous commencions, dame, monsieur Richard, dis-nous qui est lié, parlez-nous de lui un petit peu, connaît qui est qui chita dans mi-temps là. Monsieur Richard, dis
Ouais.
pas la peuple là.
Pas la peuple là? OK. Moi, le Richard Gentil, je grandi Boston. Fait toute étude à Boston. Graduate from University of Massachusetts. Undergrad, went to Boston University grad school. I used to be I've done a lot, so my background is vast. I used to be a high school teacher for a while in New York. I was also a stockbroker. And then I was a program director. I worked a lot with kids, disadvantaged kids, to make sure they were on the right path. So I ran a program at the Hudson Guild in Manhattan. I used to be the director for a while, and then I got into it with one of the executives, Jewish lady, of course, who was trying to tell me the potential of black kids. So that was my last day at that job. And then from that point on, yeah, I've been an entrepreneur since 2001. I've been on my own, yeah. So I went off and started my own company, RJ Publications, and I came out with my first book, I think in 2000, while I was still working. And then in 2001, I came out with my first novel, and it was a lot of hard work, but it became a national bestseller for me. So I think my first book sold about maybe 800,000 copies.
Wow.
Yeah.
800,000. What was the title of that book?
Neglected Souls.
Neglected Soul.
Yeah, Neglected Souls. That was my first
Neglected
novel.
Souls.
Yeah, that was my first novel.
And what year was that, Richard?
2002.
2002.
Yeah.
So
And,
what got you into writing before you go a little bit further?
Well, I studied accounting and film and television writing in college.
Okay.
So I was supposed to, initially, when I first graduated from college, I was on my way to California, LA. And I made a detour. I ended up in New York. So I'm also a stand-up comic. I have a comedy album out. So
Okay.
yeah.
How many hats do you have?
I know,
Can I
right?
take this hat off for a minute here?
Yeah,
Because
so-
you have a lot of layers.
Yeah,
So
so-
wait, let's take them. You were a teacher.
Yeah, I used to be a high
You
school
studied
teacher.
accountant
Yeah, accounting and film and
and
television.
filming.
Yeah.
You an author?
Yeah.
You an investor?
Yeah. I'm a painter too.
You an a painter?
And I'm a comedian. Yeah.
He's a comedian.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So yeah, I did a detour in New York. So I used to do shows every Friday at the New York Saturday at the New York Comedy Club. And I was in New York for 20 years, but I had other talent. So it's kind of hard to focus on one thing when you're multi-talented. So I decided to just focus on writing. So when I became a writer, I think I wrote like 35 or 40 books in 2 years, but I didn't publish all of them. Instead, I started my own company, my own publishing company. I came out with my first book, did pretty well, and then I came out with the second book. The second book, I think I might have sold maybe 400,000 or 500,000, and then I started focusing on other black writers. So
Okay.
I started signing other writers to my company. One of the bestsellers that we have is a trilogy called Blood of My Brother.
Blood of My Brother.
Yeah, that one has done really, really well.
Wow.
Yeah, and then of course I started signing many other authors. I think I've published about 50 something books that I've published,
Wow.
and the company overall probably sold over 5 million books. But we still sell.
What's the name of that company?
RJ Publications.
RJ Publication.
Yeah, that's my company.
Wow.
And I won Publisher of the Year. I can't remember what year that was. Maybe it might have been 2008 or 2007. My company won Publisher of the Year.
Wow,
Like,
congratulations.
congratulations.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. So you got bestsellers then? You got
Yeah,
New York bestseller,
national
Amazon,
bestsellers.
national bestsellers.
Yeah.
My lord,
Yeah.
That's amazing.
very
And
successful.
yeah, so writing was my thing. That's I lived off my writing. So back, I think my last book that I wrote when 50 Shades of Grey came out,
Okay.
I was a little upset that this lady came out of nowhere and all these black authors had been writing erotica for years. Me,
That's true.
personally, of course, Zane is a good friend of mine. Eric Jerome Dickey, of course, when he was alive, that was one of my friends as well. We had been writing these types of books for years, and
Never got recognition for
we
it.
didn't. Yeah, I mean, Zane has done pretty well, but not commercial success like this lady
like
did.
this lady
yeah,
did.
she became almost a billionaire from her books, but this is something
Household name.
that those were her first books, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so I was like sitting around one day at my house. I had written Sexual Exploits Part 1 and 2. These books had done pretty well for me as erotica, so I decided to write a trilogy. I wrote a third part to it. So
Wow.
Sexual Exploits 1, 2, and 3. It's a trilogy. The first part, after I wrote the first part, I think that's when they came in with their little $1 million contract. I was like, I'm not interested.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
So
And,
you turned down $1 million.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
Well, it's
So I'm
business.
sitting
It's
next to a
business.
millionaire?
It's business.
So
Business
I'm
is
sitting next
no,
to a millionaire?
This is no. Listen. I'm gonna tell you how
just saying.
business works, right?
Okay.
So since I'm in the inner workings of my business, so I know how it works. Meaning, for me to make $500,000 from a book, all I gotta do is sell about 100,000 books. That's it. For me to make $500,000 for myself. You understand? So if my book had already sold over 100,000 copies, so why do I care about your $1 million for 3 books?
Oh.
Makes sense.
You understand? So that's the way it works. And
I see.
I always bet on myself.
Yes.
I don't bet on.
We
anybody
always
else.
win when
Yeah.
we bet on ourselves,
Yeah.
right? Because
I bet on myself. I don't.
because you know what you can do, you don't know what the
Yeah.
other people can do, right?
I'm not just a businessman. I'm also a hustler. So, in New York, anybody who's an avid reader in New York can tell you who I am. They knew who. I am.
Wow.
They knew who I was. They knew what I was doing. I was all across the country.
Wow. Did you say how you get started in writing, or you didn't?
How did I get started? Well, my first book, this is when I was still with my ex-wife. We had moved to Atlanta. This is back in 1997. And I was trying to figure my way out. I think I was working for American Express as a financial advisor at the time, and it wasn't something that I enjoyed. So every day I would come home, I would either paint or write. And I wrote my first book, which is this is before email was the big thing.
Mm-hmm.
I wanted to write a book about the cyberspace.
Okay.
So if you go online right now, you'll see my first book is called The Most Interesting Emails Circulating on Cyberspace.
Mm-hmm.
That was my first book. And, you know, people thought it was funny. And then I said, okay, you know what? Let me write a real book. While I was in grad school, so when I was in grad school, I had to write screenplays. But more importantly, I had to write an episode of a sitcom, and I chose Frasier. Frasier used to be one of my favorite shows. And after writing my first episode, the professor read it, and he was the one that was like, you know you got talent. He said that to me. He said, you know, you have a mind for storytelling.
Wow.
And then after he said that, that's when I started focusing more on writing. But I had been writing since, you got to understand, sometimes I've been on my own since I was 14 years old.
Okay.
So when you're 14, your only outlet is to write in a journal. You understand? When things happen to you, when you don't have a mother, you don't have a father, you don't have anybody that you can go to.
So you didn't have any of these people?
I mean, they were around, but I wasn't living.
So you didn't feel like...
I wasn't living. I was on my own.
Okay.
I wasn't living at home. I didn't have a home to live in. So basically, I grew up pretty quickly. And that's what I did. I used to write. So
writing was therapeutic for you? Was a way
that was my therapy.
Just safe.
Yeah, that was my therapy.
So
So I would write, you know, anything, songs, poems, you know, a journal, whatever. And it became a practice. But the thing about writing for me is that was my worst subject when I was in school. My favorite subject was math. I ran away from writing. I promise you.
Oh my God.
No, the funny thing is, when I was in high school, I was in advanced classes, and that includes English. But I wasn't the best writer.
Okay.
So when I got to college, I was a little arrogant, and so I decided to take a literature class because I'm like, you know, it should be easy like high school was. But my first paper, I remember writing my first paper. When I got it back from my professor, it was bleeding red.
What do you mean?
It was bleeding red.
Nothing
that I wrote was correct. So, but you know what it is? I felt challenged. And not only that, it was a white professor too. So I felt like he was judging me the way that he corrected the paper, because it seemed like he did it on purpose with all this red stuff. I said, I'm going to show you. So I overcame my biggest fear.
Wow.
And
That's good.
yeah, so.
Well, you know, we're here and sip and read. Yeah. That's crazy. So finish your thought, and then we'll.
So
go back to
basically, I roasted a challenge, and then writing became easy for me. Yeah.
Wow.
So it's nothing to me now. I challenged myself one time. I wrote a book in 2 weeks.
Wow.
Yeah. Hoodfellas. The first part took place in Boston. The second part, Haiti. And the third part was like a cross between Haiti and Miami. So I wrote that second part in 2 weeks. It was just a personal challenge. I wanted to see if I could write a book in 2 weeks.
And you did.
And he did. Guys, you're watching Sip and Read with Dr. Betty and Dr. Lucida.
Yes.
And we are sipping with Richard Jeanty. And we are here to talk to him about his book. He has a lot going on, but we want to keep the show focused on the book that he's here to present to us tonight. So he's presenting A Time for Revenge, The Black Revolution, Part 1.
And part 2 is here too.
Oh, Part 2 is here too?
Yes.
Awesome. So
part 1 is the part we're going to focus
this is the part we are going to focus on. God's buried us. It's the first episode of Sip and Read for January 2025. 2025 started with a whoo. So we're going to get better next week. So, Richard, let's talk about this book.
Yeah,
We
I
want
have
to
a
do this
question,
book
yeah, before we
justice.
even dive in.
Mhm.
So about the title itself.
All right, so
So we talk about the time for revenge.
okay,
So revenge against
Against who?
Against
All right.
what?
Let's look at the book. It's available
the
on
title-
Amazon, guys.
the title's a metaphor. So
Okay.
basically, metaphorically speaking, we black people in general, because I wrote this book not just for Haitians, even though you see the Haitian flag, I had to represent on the cover. But metaphorically speaking, black people has to basically revenge the system. And what I mean by that, it starts with a personal look at ourselves, one. Second, I talk heavily about black unity because my job as a Haitian American, whatever you want to call me, I have to bridge the gap. You know what I'm saying? Meaning I've lived both sides. You know what I'm saying? I've lived the Haitian side, I've lived the American side.
Okay.
So basically my job is to present both sides. So when I wrote A Time for Revenge, I didn't focus specifically on one particular group, because the story is a story of a young Haitian American woman. She was born in Brooklyn, and her husband is from Boston. He's African American. They meet in Georgia, and basically they meet while they're in college. Her dad went through his struggles to get here, and when he got here, it was culture shock because he had to learn the system here. So assimilation was a problem. So I talk about the assimilation of immigrants to America, but at the same time, it's parallel to the same assimilation that African Americans had to make when they migrated from the South to the North because of Jim Crow. So I interconnect the struggles because they're the same. Because a lot of Haitian families, when they come up here, the first thing they want to do is send for their family members, bring them up here and hoping for a better life. And guess what African Americans do? When they migrated from the South to the North, they did the same thing. So there would be one person who come up first, and then they'll send for everybody else. So I wanted to show the similarities because we keep dividing ourselves because we don't understand our struggle, our way of life is very similar, and it's rooted in our African roots, our African heritage. So I'm very heavy on that. So A Time for Revenge, it's about us being clear on who we are, being clear on the fact that we're all connected, in spite of the fact that we decide to now represent the locations where these ships, these slave ships, dropped our ancestors. But the origin is Africa. Whether you're African American, Jamaican, Haitian, Dominican, whatever, they took your ancestors from the same spot. And in addition, I also cover in this book, because a lot of Haitians specifically, they don't know this. Haitians don't know that the Haitian Revolution didn't just involve Haitians. It was people from all over the Caribbean.
And that's my next question, because you said the Black Revolution, not
Exactly.
the Haitian Revolutions, because
No, it's-
people are
It's a
often
black
refer
revolution.
to
Yeah.
Haitian Revolution.
So
So-
the reason why I reference the black revolution, because in the entire world, you've only had one successful revolution against the system, against imperialism. That's the Haitian Revolution. So in order for us to have another revolution, we must do what the Haitians did, unite. And this time we have to unite on a global scale in order for us to stand up against white superiority, supremacy, imperialism, dominance, all of it. And in this book, these two books are like a blueprint of how we can come together, what we need to do to come together, and how we can dismantle the system. That's my job as a writer, to make sure that people understand, listen, these people have a well-oiled machine that is called racism, that is called white supremacy. How do we dismantle that? So that's what these two books talk about. In addition, I'm also clear, because a lot of people, they discount the major role that the Haitian Revolution played in the world. So I want to make sure that people understand, especially black people from all over the world. Because remember, I've been to Africa, I've been to South America, I've been to at least 15 countries in Africa where people have never heard of Haiti.
Yeah.
You understand? So,
That is so
I've
true.
been to countries in South America, even though Haiti has helped free Colombia and so many other nations in South America, but these people, they're not acknowledged. Yeah, they're not acknowledged. So my job is to teach the world our history. My job is to connect the black diaspora, and my job is to open everybody's eyes to their own subjugation, exploitation, and by the system. And in order for us to stop all of it, we must unite, have a common goal, and focus more on our commonalities than our differences.
Awesome. Because we're in Sip and Read, do you have a favorite chapter you want to share? Because I did discover my favorite part, so we can go on further.
You know what?
With the book.
I have so much going on in my head. I don't even know if I remember if I have a favorite chapter. Because these books, you got to understand, I took 10 years off. Okay, my last books came out in 2013.
Okay.
That was the last time I put out a book.
Oh, wow.
So it's been actually 11 years since I put out a book. So these 2 books took me forever. And the thing is, it's really not a coincidence because I have about 30 other books that I wrote that are sitting on my computer. I could have put any of them out. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. But I'm also on a journey. And anybody who has read my books, because, I used to have millions of readers, people that follow me, they know that my job as a writer is to always open the eyes of my readers and expose them to something that they may not know, something new. And not only that, to make sure that I highlight the exploitation and the subjugation tactics of white supremacy. So that's always been my focus. So when I started to become more aware, more conscious of what's going on, I also started to change path. So that's how these books were birthed. They were birthed because of my new revelations, my new focus, my new direction. And it's about raising the consciousness of all black people around the world so that they can understand how we're connected. This is one of the main reasons why I've traveled around the world, just to see the conditions that we're in. There's not a country that I've been to where I didn't see black folks were the bottom totem everywhere that I've gone.
That's
you understand?
True. That's true.
So I have to see why we're like this in Brazil, why we're like this in Paris, why we're like this in England, why we're like this, no matter where I've gone, South Africa, which is a majority black country, Namibia, Ghana, I've been to all these places and I look at black people's state and I'm just questioning, what is it that I see that they don't see? You understand? But in addition, you must understand the construct that's in place to keep us in a cycle. Yeah. You understand what I'm saying? Because poverty has been forced as a religion on black people by these folks. But the reason being is because we keep looking for goodness in the people whose nature is
to hurt us.
Their nature is evil, period. I'm just going to say it. That's what it is. They have an evil nature. So their job is to destroy us. Their job is to take away. You understand? Even when you roll the red carpet for them, you welcome them. They don't welcome you. Black people, when we move into a white neighborhood, what do? They harass, they call you the N-word, they call you name. When white people come into our neighborhood, we do not do that. That's not our nature. So I need black people to understand.
Do you think we're nice by nature? Because I feel like black people, we're just nice.
But if you let them tell it, we're evil, we're lazy. But I'm sure a lot of you have heard at least about Christopher Columbus's diary, right? What did he say when he first came into contact with black people? Oh my God, there's no thieves here. They're so kind. They share. They do this. They do that. They weren't used to that.
Correct.
We introduced them to that. You understand?
That's
so
true.
when you're dealing with a bully, that's why we have these anti-bully campaigns here. Who's the biggest bully in the world? America. So you're breeding bullies. You understand? Because that's their
Well,
nature.
is that from your book? Because we don't want to.
No, this is what I'm saying. I cover all of that when I write.
Okay, so. Because we don't want.
Yeah.
So, livre la parle de un time for revenge. So, en 2024, nous connaissons une situation d'immigration qui quand déjà délicat qu'on y a pour un pile dans frère et sœur nous. Comment livre ça ka aider au monde capable prendre position de caser tant que un black revolution standpoint. Qui je pense que livre capable aider un pile monde qu'on y a qui là cap garder nation qui peut être capable besoin li pour qui idée qui message
Qui ça nous qu'a fait?
qui au cas comme capable mettre tête en position pour capable comme si gagner I mean win dans ça.
OK, haïtien blié c'est unité qui te fait gain indépendance. That's one. Second, haïtien blié que nature yo, OK, spiritualité yo. Te aider yo prend indépendance. Nous fin pour indépendance nous, après nous virer de nous sous toute bagay qui te aider nous pour indépendance nous. Après qu'on y en a crié, mais ça ka passer nous. They say God is a jealous God, right? So if God is a jealous God, that means all gods are jealous. So l'op gadi pour moun noir yo, parce que moun noir k'ap souffrir dans le monde entier, right? Muslim yo gen Islam. C'est religion pa yo, right? Chinois yo gen Buddha, right? They're Buddhists.
Correct.
Blanc yo
On
gen
prend ici pour ça. Parce que.
Blanc yo-
Bien parler là.
Blanc yo gen Christianity, right?
Yeah.
So qui religion moun noir?
Ça y va nous.
OK.
Ça
So,
dépend.
l'envie, OK,
Bon, on
c'est
va
ça.
répondre ça. On va répondre ça. N'a
Ça
ça
adopté, hein.
on va répondre ça. N'a salué Talia. Talia, merci pour être dans live là et pour dire ou dire un bagage ou dire no matter how much they want to beat us down, we always rise.
But this is what I'm saying. We're very resilient. But see, it's a gift and a curse.
Okay.
You know why? I'm going to tell you why. Because no matter how hard they push us, right? You got to understand all the roadblocks that are in place for black people to fail. In spite of all that, white people can't understand how we become millionaires,
How we survive.
how we become billionaires, how we dominate them in this field, that field.
Even
You
in the
understand?
medical field, right? Les filles enceintes. Envoie yo ba nous epidural là. Nous prend pile temps parce que yo dit
Because your threshold for pain is
It-
higher
it's
than
higher than normal
You gotta
people.
understand these people are very soft. They're very most white men are easily emasculated. You understand? So they have that issue to deal with. They don't have the strength of a black man. The white women don't have the strength of a black woman.
But how do we teach our black people to know that we have that?
But you
we
don't-
have
this
that
is-
gift. We
you know,
have
you,
that.
You know the problem is?
Yes.
Okay. You guys send your kids to be taught at school. I used to be a teacher. Remember, I used to be a high school teacher. Okay? The school doesn't teach, the school only teaches you what's great about white people. That's
true.
what they teach you at school. You understand? So,
It's about your teach you financial literacy, right?
it's not because it's
yeah.
going to strengthen you.
But go ahead. keep
Yeah.
going.
Sak pase. Lo ki te moun la pede djou, se yo ki even through the, when you look at the media, lop got Superman, Batman, got tout te ten blan ou ban nou yo. Okay? Même l'autre al gade, what was that? Black Panther? Okay. Même no Black Panther. If you saw Black Panther 2, who was the nemesis?
No way.
You know what I'm saying? Who was the
That's
nemesis? Because they control, they
narrative.
use the media specifically to control your mind, you know. And once your mind is controlled, then your body and soul belong to them.
them.
You understand what I'm saying?
That's true.
So the idiosyncrasies that they have in place that we don't pay attention to is what's controlling us. And my job as a writer, basically as a, I call myself a social activist,
Okay.
is to every day bring forth everything that
Awareness,
they're doing,
awareness,
yeah.
yes.
But you can't revolt against a system if you don't know what the system is doing to you. You understand?
That's true.
So you have to be aware first. So a time for revenge, a black revolution.
So on nous lit un paragraphe, Richard. Parce que c'est dans si ben read nous
Am
hier.
I reading pour me?
On nous lit, on nous
Am I reading? Who's
lit,
reading?
nous tout ap li. Parce que moi mes parties émotionnelles là.
All right, let me see.
De
Let me
Candace.
see.
Parce que
Let
c'est
me see.
là me te remè.
This is Candace's emotional
yes.
black history.
Parce que nous pas ka venir dans
All right,
livre et
let
puis
me
nous pas
see.
pli dans livre là.
Let me read
Parlez
just
dans
a
mic là
little.
pour nous
Let me read just a little
attendre
bit.
partie livre là bien.
My feelings for Kane changed completely after that Valentine's. Oh, now I don't know. Oh my God! After that Valentine's night when he wooed me to the moon and back, Kane was on some grown man shit that I was not used to and hadn't experienced from any man before.
Ooh, don't I tell you?
His bedroom skills were off the charts. I can't even describe the euphoria I went through for a couple of days after being with him.
See, the book is not just about revenge. That's a nice thing.
Hold on a second. See, my readers know what type of books that I used to write. Most of my books in the past were romance, erotica. So
and that's why
I don't get away from who I am.
Yes.
You know, even though this is all revolutionary, I'm still going to give you my essence.
little bit. Yeah. Yes.
My essence is not going to leave me.
No, let's continue here.
I don't know. If we have children, we might have children.
I read this whole chapter like 3 times. Just so you know.
I don't want the children to listen.
How did you magically, because this, I know you don't want the children, but how did you come up with this paragraph here?
I got to tell you this, right? Whenever I'm right, the one thing that society fails to do for us as black people, they never show the love, okay?
Yes.
They don't show the love between us. So when I was writing this book, I wanted this love story to be so strong, the bond between Kane and Candace. I wanted that bond to be so strong that nobody can come between them to break it. And how do you do that? You have to show the depth of their love for each other. And Kane pretty much turned Candace into a woman, and Candace made Kane feel like a man.
Yes.
That's what I wanted to bring forth in that particular chapter.
And then it's real too, because a woman's job is to make a man feel like a king.
Man. Yeah.
Because that way he is able to provide for you, because you make him feel masculinity. And I feel now in this day and age, because women are making money, they feel like they can be the leader of a household. And I always tell them no.
There's a lot. You got to understand, this is what happened with black women specifically.
Not all of them, some of us.
No. I know. No, listen. You got to understand what society has done. But it's affected black women the most, because the feminine movement is a deterrent for the black family. So when you start to follow what white women are doing, because white women, they just like to wait on the wing. They want you to work hard, and then they come back and basically reap the benefits. That's what they do.
They stay in the back end. Yeah.
And then they reap the benefits. And they always push black women to the forefront, you know? And unfortunately, a lot of black women, you know, they start jumping on this I'm independent crap, right? And it's okay to be independent, but you can't be independent of your mate. You understand?
Correct.
So
now I know, I'm sorry, Richard, everybody's asking what's the name of the book, especially after this paragraph, the sexuality.
It's called A Time for Revenge.
It's Time for Revenge. It is, you can find it anywhere in Amazon. You can put it there.
To my site. If you go to my site, rjpublications.com, you can get a signed copy. But you can also get it from Amazon Prime, whatever. You get it the next day.
And because you're in Sipping With, we're going to keep reading, because Richard can go all night. But we want to make you guys enjoy this book, because that's what this book, that's what we are here. The show is not, you know, we're going to invite Richard to another show, because there's so many shows in iSpace 2 Studio that Richard can come to. But today we want to make sure we emphasize this show about his book. We want the audience to know what is this book about, why they need to grab a copy of it, and we want to make sure he does justice for this book so everybody can know what it is.
Just so I'm clear, right? Because she asked me about the title, A Time for Revenge. Okay, basically, it's time for black people to stand up. You know, remember the movie A Time to Kill? I don't know if you've ever seen that. With Samuel L. Jackson was in it. A Time to Kill, okay? With James Patterson. Excuse me. Sorry. Excuse me. James Patterson wrote A Time to Kill. So when I was coming up with this title, A Time for Revenge, I don't know if you guys heard of the case of Tamir Rice in Cleveland. So I was inspired by Tamir Rice's case in Cleveland, a little 11-year-old who was killed by police without any questions asked because he was playing with a toy gun. So you have to remember, this book takes place during COVID.
Okay.
So the plot of the book is this. During COVID, this family, husband, I go into the love story of Kane and, and Candace, right? I explain their names and everything, the origin of their names. But the family was at home. They wanted a breather from the house. So they decided to take their children out to the park for some fresh air. And that's when everything this life starts to fall apart. And that's also what's bringing the whole city, the whole community together, because the community is finally fed up. You understand? So A Time for Revenge, it's revenge for Tamir Rice. It's revenge for, all the other black people.
What's his name?
Who were
the one that they put the knee on?
Oh, George Floyd.
George
yeah,
Floyd.
It's revenge. It's revenge for all of these injustices that we've witnessed. But like I said, this is a blueprint on how we go about getting proper justice.
So
that's why I wrote the book.
Okay, proper justice. You said that before. Reading this book, would it give us the steps to do that? Of course.
This is why I wrote it. This book could have been 5 parts. I edited a lot out of this book because when I was writing this book, I never stopped. You understand? I just kept writing and writing and writing and writing, and it could have been like a 3, 4, 5 part book. But I just wanted to conduce it to something,
I want to read the part about President Obama.
Go ahead. You can.
You said President Obama was probably the worst puppet that the entire continent of Africa and the Caribbean had seen.
Yeah.
His policies further impoverished Africa and the Caribbean, while he strengthened the presence of the United States in those regions. It was under the Obama administration that the government of Ghana agreed to have the United States install a military base to monitor growth in Ghana. Furthermore, symbolically, Obama should have made it a priority as the first black president to take a trip to Haiti. Now, I'm going to pause here because there was a lot of talk about that.
Of course.
As an author, why do you feel like it was necessary to put that in this book? I know it's a blueprint, but I know what it means.
You got to understand symbolism, right? Symbolically, Obama was the first puppet selected for America, right?
Why are we using puppet? Do we have to use the word puppet?
I'm being honest. What did he accomplish for black people? I'm just telling you.
All right, let's do this.
So when Obama, you have to see my progression with Obama. When I wrote The Most Dangerous Gang in America, the NYPD, back in 2007, my opinion of Obama was very different. If you read that book, I was praising Obama because Obama was then a senator. And I hadn't seen The Con Man. By the time I wrote these books, The Con Man had fully developed. You have to call a spade a spade. So basically, I want to make sure that people understood the correlation between the first black republic and the first black president. And Obama did everything in his power to distance himself from Haiti. Obama was in office for 8 years. He never set foot in Haiti.
But he sent Michelle Obama.
Listen, Michelle wasn't president. And all the while, his buddies, the Clintons, were pillaging Haiti. You understand what I'm saying?
They were the ambassador, right?
Yeah.
That's what they call themselves.
They were pillaging Haiti. So symbolically, you have to mention Obama as it relates to the first free black nation in the world, because a lot of people, especially our children, they look, black people, period, they're looking at Haiti and they think Haiti is what it is now. No, Haiti used to be a whole empire. Yes. You understand? Haiti freed a lot of, freed a lot of country. They helped a lot of country. America wouldn't be America without Haitian, because the Haitian soldiers actually fought against the British alongside America to help them gain their independence.
But
you
how do we
People
get that
don't know
respect back? Because even here in
Savannah, it's not about getting respect back. It's systemic. You understand? In order for you to fight a bully, a Goliath, right? You have to be aligned with another Goliath, Okay? The U.S. has been draining Haiti since. I talk about the invasion in 1915, what they did, and how it went about. I talk about Charlemagne Pérat. A lot of people don't know Charlemagne Pérat. He's a Haitian hero, but you don't hear too much about this guy. He fought back. You understand?
Yes.
And they want to show us as, as if we don't have valor.
But question for you though, do you think that, you say, il y a comme si join Haiti. Est-ce qu'on pense qu'il y a essayé de nous en même temps qu'à nos programmes Biden de venir avec lui?
Okay. No
On
funny.
va le Biden.
Est-ce que son modèle soufflé que
Non.
Parce que pour Haïtien, on comprend pas ça.
Dis l'encore, ok, bon parler créole.
On parle créole. On faut virer.
Il pas essayer aider nous tout pendant que avait bon, il faut pas
bon parler créole pour nous. Bon parler parce que ça passe. OK.
Parce que aider nous combien Haïtiens ont dit venir?
Nous 700 000.
700 000 mes amis.
Nous aimons carotte là. OK? Nous aimons carotte. Blanc connaît nous aimons carotte, il lague carotte là devant nous tout courir derrière carotte là. Let me just tell you, OK, bon dis nous ti parce que m'pa dire ça en créole parce que me fatigué à dire. On nous parle. Blanc si blanc bon un penny, faut le connaître qu'il prend $100 dans mon avant le bon un penny. OK? So, blanc, one of the main thing you aime faire en pile. You toujours prend pause philanthropique yo. Le yo prend pause philanthropique ça veut dire yo pas qui y a aidé yo pas quitter le monde ouais quand qui gens y a retiré manger dans bouche non. Bon yo besoin le monde ouais qui gens a bon manger. OK? Le Biden vient pas être un programme ça. Faut nous connaître c'est 4 pays qui target, right?
4 pays, yes.
Okay.
Haiti,
Nicaragua, Haiti, Venezuela, Cuba. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
What's the US interest in these 4 countries? Okay? Nicaragua, they invaded Nicaragua. Everybody knows that. Okay? Why? They wanted to destabilize Nicaragua. Why? Which country on this side of the world has the most gold? Nicaragua. Okay? Qui pays dans South America, Central America qui gagne plus l'huile? Venezuela. Qui pays tape de Haïti? Venezuela. Okay? Now, let's move. Attendez. Qui pays qui gagne iridium dans le monde entier? Haïti, South Africa. Okay? Haïti gagne l'or, you gagne copper, you gagne bauxite, you gagne l'huile, you gagne tout base. Okay? So, ça passe là Cuba lui-même nous compte pour qui raison depuis the Cuban Revolution happened parce que américain te besoin contrôler Cuba depuis longtemps. Américain c'est le même n'a regardé qui next to Haïti. Nous gars oublier si Américain te invade Saint-Domingue. N'oubliez ça? N'oubliez au te invade Saint-Domingue tout. Before business Saint-Domingue, qui est-ce qui on yo? Et pas dominicain non? Américain. Vous connaissez? So Saint-Domingue c'est presque quand son territoire libre américain. OK? Porto Rico c'est un territoire libre. Vous avez besoin faire Cuba tout non territoire tout. Vous comprenez ça tout là? So Haïti pas un territoire, vous fait Haïti tout non plantation. That's different. Vous comprenez ça tout là? So tout zam nous ouais qui est bijou tout voler Haïti qu'est-ce qui met en place pour venir pouvoir assez qu'on y a pour y bailler ti monsieur zam ti monsieur ça on connaît yo sort but yo pas fin sort John penser honnête parce que yo sort assez pour y aller tuer pas yo parce que ti malheureux yo peut tuer but ça passe moi-même j'aime dire nous mal I've been to Congo mal Congo mal Rwanda mal Uganda mal Ghana mal dans tout pays ça so blueprint yo gen en Afrique là c'est même blueprint ça y a utilisé en Haïti pour yo ka faire tout they turn juveniles the black juveniles they turn them into delinquents okay ça veut dire DRC right Congo là yo ba jeune ti monsieur ça aux âmes ti monsieur ça fait yo identifier côté ressources pour yo bâti monsieur zam y a fait moun yo courir quitter kayo pour yo même yo ka so they can seize that pour yo ka prendre côté yo connaît ressources là pour yo voler ressources OK c'est ça qui a passé en Haïti so les Biden monté Biden parle avec l'autre sans avis raciste li yo OK il dit comme ça combien de temps n'a besoin pour nous voler tout l'on besoin en Haïti. So they came up with the plan, okay, mais humanitarian program. Vous pensez que c'est plus facile pour sans avis vieux blanc raciste ça pas descendre Haïti pour yo si yo te vle mettre loi tout bon, l'ordre tout bon. Ou pense ti gang ti m'gon tirer que 99% que nèg Haïti gen zam yo. Si mal Haïti si m'gen 500 moun qui même j'avais m'a descendre Haïti m'a tué dans 2 jours. Et pas menti m'a nettoyer Haïti dans 2 jours. That's on my life, that's on my mother, that's on my kids. On s'en abdoulan. So, si Américain devait faire, il t'a fait. Ça Américain fait, Américain prend pause. Américain, surtout démocrate là. Yo prend pause, yo toujours prend pause les amours yo parce que yo besoin retirer une histoire. Bon m'dou. Histoire d'Haïti.
Jeanty.
Eh ben, I stand on it. On s'en abdoulan, ça fait m'écrire livre ça, même pas peur blanc, même pas peur non.
Yo comme ça parler.
Non. On s'en abdoulan pas peur exposer et faut exposer yo. Yo prend pose les amis nous yé bagay nous tout haïtien dans des Biden yo tout haïtien pour courir des visa parce que Haïti pas haïtien pas Haïti pour changer pays y a tant de blanc vient changer le pays blanc c'est casser la casser cou on s'entend là so si blanc casser cou qui gens pour le faire mais faut fermer bouche pour le venir casser cou puis bien oh bon m'aider bon prendre 2-3 moun pour so kounya là il vient créer non il pas se faire un jeu non il vient créer une alliance avec toute diaspora OK. Qui est supporté Haïti?
Nous-mêmes.
Exactement. So qu'on y a diaspora fait mais vinn dire comme ça, oh, mais ça fait pour même ka mener famille qu'on y a là, yo fin voler ça voler passer 2 ans au ba. OK? Yo fin voler ça voler Biden dit programme fini parce que yo connaît parce que m'pa konn si connaît m'gen vidéo moi-même l'hélicoptère saute Haïti a voler l'eau chaque jour, you know, moun yo fait vidéo. Yo prend terre moun chaque petit monsieur al quoi des bouquets al qui bosse ça il a me débaptisé qui gens ba ça les Matissan. Okay. That is prime location for a port parce que de l'eau toute bagarre là on s'en dit là so leur fait moun yo courir quitter caillou là so penser ba garder dans 10 ans encore 10-15 ans ça va passer à Haïti. They have a plan. Blanc pas amour, blanc prend pause les amours.
Est-ce que yo vle détruire Haïti ou bien qui plon penser?
Bon son plantation lié.
Ou pour va le planter.
Non. Ça plantation ça lié. Qui est-ce qui est dans plantation?
Savane farmer.
Non, esclave.
Yeah,
Exactement.
Farmers, people.
No, esclave. No, it's not. Plantation is not just about farming. When they say a place is a plantation is where you hold slaves, where slaves work, and you reap the benefits. Okay.
Wow.
So basically, what they're doing is they're trying to turn Haiti into a plantation for America. You understand? So when
the first black
erase,
country. So we're gonna go back to basics.
You got to understand. Okay. How do you debunk white supremacy? You have to show that they're not as great as they think they are.
Oh my God!
So because we already exposed their inferiority.
Yeah.
You understand?
Yeah.
Pas besoin de dire que nous plus fort que blanc dans toute bagarre parce que plus fort invention à regarder internet, cell phone. T'allez. Non.
Jeanty ba la Louis, so je dis là.
Bon dit bagaille, OK? Mon Haïti depuis on ba qui merveilleux, yo toujours dit regarde ça blanc fait.
That's true.
Parce que pas connaître nous inventer. On s'en dit si m'pas éduquer moun yo, si m'pas di moun yo c'est nous qui inventé ça ceci, c'est nous qui inventé cela. Yo pas connaît toujours pédé bay blanc crédit. Blanc lui même c'est manipulation li utiliser pour le cas avancer. C'est comme ça blanc pas gen moun qui pi paresseux que yo. Si yo pas paresseux, yo pas juste al juste en Afrique pour venir al kidnapper moun illégalement pour venir cultiver terre au vol dans les Indiens là. On s'en dit là. So pas rien, aucun phénomène blanc a fait pour l'impressionner non même parce que mon histoire, mon tête moi, mon toute bail de lui tout. On pas non nous problème nous en Haïti c'est ça au fait. Est-ce que ouais qui plus gros problème Haïti c'est éducation? Parce que qu'on est jou peuple haïtien vinn éduquer tout le monde. Qui bon à privé parce que haïtien boy ici qui éduqué yo. On est blanc pas payer attention. Ou pensez ou pas connaît? Ou va comprendre capacité nous? Of course. On s'en pas combat nous fait, yo pas suivre blanc kon behavior nous tout. They behaviorists. Yo they watch. Yeah, m'parle de bon dou, livre ça, bon m'te écrit livre ça ou m'ka éduquer moun yo. OK, si m'te
the eye-opening experience.
Yeah. Eye-opening experience. Yeah, that's the chapter about Haiti. So, what I wanted to do, OK, m'te besoin qu'on livre pour le moun la fin li livre là. non seulement to become more conscious of who he is or she is, but pour yo ka have enough awareness of what we've accomplished as a people. Because what, like I said, what we're doing is, nous quitter blanc, c'est blanc ba ou nationalité, oui. Bon m'dou, qui ça nan ou qui original? Signature, Jeanty côté, même monde qui vagabond que les Jeanty, OK? Est-ce que mon vagabond c'est un Jeanty?
Non.
Non.
Mes amis,
Non.
nous non Stephen Will.
ça
I guess,
m'dou.
you know, nous avec auteur.
Son vagabond qui te prend famille météo son vagabond qui saute en France au son qui bol sortir qui prend grand même en 1700 combien yo fouel dans esclavage après dit m'a changer nom m'a changer religion m'a changer langage m'a changer tout bail nan ou kounyon si un gentil kounyon va parler français haïtien li saute et en Afrique li sorti tant bon me tant moun noir intelligent OK blanc pas comprendre nous nous sommes en Afrique non pas que différentes sources hein? Nous sommes non pas que sources OK kounya là nous arriver là yo lage nous Haïti français al coloniser Haïti africain qui yo lage Haïti yo dit ah monsieur faut nous dégager nous pour nous qui j'en nous ka parler parce que yo te prend un different tribe yo pas parler même langue ça au fait yo créé un langage les créoles. Yo prend yo lage Jamaica même bagay là. So blanc qu'on y vinn confuse parce que blanc pas jamais créé en la ville. On s'en dit là, qui jamais ça fait intelligent comme ça. So qu'on y là, their goal is to take us out. But no pas fast, we're not easily
Resilience, our favorite
our
word.
resilience is like yo pas comprendre
Yo pas comprendre.
On s'en dit là, on seul bagay blanc fait parce que he succeeded in doing it. Li séparer nous division so même kounyan là haïtien pas aimer jamaïcain dominicain pas aimer haïtien ça pas aimer ça oh you know how that happened Bamdou le vieux volet européen tel en Afrique premier bagay yo fait parce que yo connaît depuis nous ka mettre tête ensemble nous ka planifier OK so when I went to Ghana, sinal Ghana dans la slave dungeon yo, OK? Nous pas jamais respecter blanc. Et pas mentir ma ba nous. N'a connait vrai nature blanc, n'a connait gens lié, nous pas jamais respecter encore. Moi malé, moi même moi la deuxième. And when you walk into those slave dungeons, ou sentil. You know, it comes over you, OK? Premier bagay yo fait, yo démoraliser ancêtres yo depuis l'autre bord. Et malbene tout parce qu'on est plus fort haïtien là au sorti yo démoraliser nous non seulement ça yo prend nous dans different tribes ça veut dire moun yo te parler différentes langues so ou gen 100 200 moun dans un ship m'pa parler avant ou pas parler avec ça pas parler ce qui j'on pas planifier so kounya là blanc vinn use système pour le bail manger hein faut garder faut suivre moi faut m'a suivre pour m'ka manger, pour m'ka boire de l'eau. On s'en dit là, so kounya vinn gen mistrust. M'pa ka trust ou pas ka trust, parce que faut manger, si pas manger ou pas survivre. On combien dans ancêtres yo tuer tête yo qui de jump overboard. On s'en dit là, l'homme dans le Ghana, OK? Là pas dans slave dungeon, on chambre go sur ça comme ça, OK? Yo mettez 200 esclaves campés comme ça, OK? Si m'gen pour me dormir, c'est sous pour m'appuyer pour me dormir. Si m'gen pour utiliser toilette et sous nous pour utiliser toilette si m'gen pour pipi tout bas si mouri moyo forcer yo cap jambe les ba moun yo manger c'est quand pour chien voyer manger envoyer de l'eau
mais ça dure
et yo démoralisé pour 3 mois yo kembe yo dans dungeon là avant yo mette yo dans bateau pour yo venir so depuis en bas yo démoralisé so distance pour yo venir dans voyage ça pour yo venir dans ouest là moun yo ba gen encore yo perd du contrôle on s'en dit là so c'est comme ça moi même pas jamais oublier gon paquet nan nous gon paquet nan moun noir yo ba gen temps pour même africain le mal Ghana c'est moi qui dit partenaire côté Safe Dungeon là imagine that Imagine they never have like a school trip, you know. They never take the kids. This is something that all the kids,
all black people should
they need to know where these dungeons are. I was telling my tour guide where the slave dungeon is in Ghana. Yeah. He's like, how do you know? I said, dude, I did my research. I said, you live in a country and you don't know your history? And he was like, what is Haiti? I said, you never heard of Haiti? Are you kidding me? I say, you don't know this is the greatest history in the world and you don't know it? That's what I'm saying. Same thing in South Africa. You understand? They'll tell you about Shaka
Parce que
Zulu.
yo fait bien, you know.
Yeah, but c'est nous-mêmes, we have a responsibility. C'est ça fait m'abdou. On lè nou gen ti moun, moi-même, I have 2 kids, m'gen 2 ti fi. On amdoulan, c'est job moi pour make sure m'éduquer yo. On amdoulan, c'est job moi pour mener yo, al tirer, les mal tirer pour m'ba aux amis yo pour m'di men ki jan pour défendre tête nous. On c'est job moi pour faire ça. Parents, nous voyons ti moun yo l'école, nous penser y a éduquer ti moun yo ba yo tout ba nou vle. Non, yo préparer ti moun yo puis yo vinn ou esclave pour système là. Pour système là. On amdoulan, so c'est ou même qui pour préparer petit tout la kayou. Si vous ne préparez petit tout, vous ne expect un monde qui raille ou pas un monde qui raille ou pour le ba ou tant que religion. Si religion t'es bon, blanc ta ba ou. Bon pas de vlo l'île pas de vlo écrit, qu'on y a le bon religion que t'es bon pour.
N'a dit merci avec Talia. Talia dit Richard son bon gentil. Il va jamais fin parler. Est-ce que va jamais fin parler Richard? Nous contents.
C'est un bel râler ou fait sur histoire nous sur livre là, A Time for Revenge. Parce que tout le monde là, c'est pas pour aller aller dans Amazon.
Yeah, Time for Revenge Part 1 and 2.
Part one and
This is the
part
Part 2.
Yes.
Okay? And like I said, I wrote this book to basically bridge the gap between the different generations, between the different cultures, and to let black people know we all have one root. You know, don't allow the drop-off locations of these ships to separate us, because that's what depuis blanc ap invade nou côté, n'importe côté ou aller invade là. OK? Ça ou fait. Premier ba yo fait ça ou fait. Yo met tête ensemble pour aller invade. Yo va jamais attaquer pour compte yo. Nous-mêmes, nous toujours pour compte.
Une question pour avec nouveau administration qui entre là, qui sont pensés, qui sont à remédier audience non parce que moi quoi les fait avec livre ça parce que grand pile scare un pile monde peur, grand pile crainte non en dans communauté noire. Qui sont te ka di moun yo?
Crainte bon do. Once you allow fear to take over, you're crippled. You're a dead man walking. On dit là, n'ayez pas peur. Okay?
N'ayez pas peur.
OK? Parce que des pour peur, you can't get anything done. OK? Parce que moi-même pas gen moun ki ka jam di Richard te peur, Richard ba. Moi jam grandi m'ba gere si m'de peur m'ba privé côté mi là. OK? N'importe sali, n'importe situation, quitte li blanc, quitte li noir, m'ba peur. Bon, moi-même comme Boston grandi, me dit nous ça déjà. Me connais blanc relâche, me connais les 4 blancs pour compte moi.
C'est pas vrai Richard.
Moi des amis, mais pas mentir, blanc capon lâche yo. Lâche yo.
Eh bien qui sont voyés dans le faire là pendant mon yo peur là.
Non, c'est pas peur, c'est ça me dit sous peur. Ou pas jamais camper pour tête tout. Nous pas sauter non peuple qui valiant, nous-mêmes nous peur nous-mêmes. Si Haïtien, si Dessalines te peur, si Toussaint te peur, si Christophe te peur, si Nexor, nous pas jamais indépendant. So c'est problème moun noir yo pas peur l'autre non et blanc yo peur. Et moi-même grandi avec eux, j'aime dire bon somme grandi. So on l'a yo jump moi yo voyer l'hôpital, me fait 2 semaines l'hôpital. But l'aime saute l'hôpital. L'aime saute l'hôpital, et pas à l'hôpital non? Là, l'aime saute l'hôpital, même 15-20 ans yo à l'hôpital.
Nous pas pratiquer violence non,
non violence, ça m'a dit là.
Non. It's a time for revenge.
Ça m'a dit là.
Ouvert genou.
Ça m'a dit là.
On nous gagne unité entre nous-mêmes.
Yeah. Pas peur. We're in a time where you can't afford to be scared.
Même les Trump ce pouvoir kounya là, pensez avec futur nous. Pensez avec qui ça nous voulait faire un plan pour même appétit tout demain si Dieu veut. Pas peur, suspend, protéger tête nous. Fais ça nous supposé faire. Parce que nous sommes haïtiens déjà, nous avons une réputation derrière nous. On nous travaille, on nous avance.
Nous disons l'union fait la force.
Yes.
Tête ensemble, mais ensemble pour nous, une supporter l'autre pour nous capable vivre.
But ça passe nous supposé stop railler l'autre pour en quelque sorte. OK? C'est ça qui nous
et gon l'autre bagaille tout nous pas gon trust entre nous-mêmes. Nous te mettre à travailler ensemble.
That was created on purpose.
Depuis l'autre la senti que ou gon intelligence avant dépasser que li peur.
Yeah, but we all have a role. OK, nous tous gon mission. OK, nous tous qui fait là, nous tous avons une mission. Bon Dieu bat tout le monde qui fait sur la terre une mission. OK? Mission Dr. King nan, c'est ça le fait après au tuer. OK? Mission Malcolm X same thing. Patrice Lumumba même bagay là. Kwame Nkrumah, Fidel Castro, I can go on and on and on. Tout le monde ça c'est monde qui sacrifie vie pour peuple. OK? Mais kounya là nous gagne Ibrahim Traoré. OK? Ibrahim Traoré, président Niger là avec président Mali. So, ou pas penser monde ça penser de vie. Moi-même j'ai petit, j'ai deux petits. OK? Ça va veut dire si m'gien pour me camper, pour me défendre, moi m'pa défendre ni. On dit là c'est Dr. King de petit, Malcolm X de petit. On dit là the bigger picture, you have to look at the bigger picture, okay? The bigger picture is the community, the people. On dit là parce que si m'pa dit monde pour faire ça m'a faire. Parce que pas tout le monde qui t'est fait sur la terre qui a même mission avec. But ou pas venir une mission dans moi-même. M'pa quitter mon interrompre parce que monde ça me fait. Yeah, exactly. So si mon groupe monde Richard pas moi m'a pas dire papa même être la cao mon frère. Ouais, j'aime grandir mon Dieu. I grew up in a j'aime te grandir mon Dieu. M'grandi tout le monde connaît à Penn Dorchester in Boston. M'grandi en paquet nèg. Gain qui fait 20 ans en prison, gain mourir, gain that's how I grew up. But ouais longtemps nèg ça tout yo te kon mission pas. So depuis m'a font bagaille, si non bataille. Parfois on l'aime nous va font bataille. On l'aime mon partenaire pas le piquer. Yo n'a partenaire li paraît devant pour piquer. Oh, li dit comme ça Richard, you have a bigger purpose.
Oh, wow.
On dit là
so go on moun d'accord pour
you know zami he jumped in front of me.
Wait, on just vient avec une question pour moi là. Est-ce que moun yo était toujours comme ça depuis petit?
Depuis petit.
A fight pour black people.
Depuis petit. Depuis Haïti.
Wow.
OK?
Eh bien, m'alvo pour président.
Chaque monde bomdou. Chaque monde
on va donner ça. Chaque monde vision pour président.
M'pa président parce que si me président bomdou ça fait m'pa président. Et ça fait m'pa le président tout. OK? Si me président I will be just.
Conversation prochaine 1 hour but
non, si m'ta vinn président, bomdou. Gon paquet de bagages m'pa accepter parce que pour président un pays faut qu'il y ait de monde là, faut qu'il y ait de pays ou de peuple. On a dit là, moi qu'il y ait trop d'ab que trop monde qui raïm, trop monde t'a voulu tuer, so kounya m'a laisser protéger tête contre trop monde. On a dit là. So pour président faut qu'on Obama, faut vicieux, faut qu'on poursuite Mickey, faut voler. On a dit là faut qu'on Aristide, faut qu'on moquin. On a dit là
mais non faire le débattre nous là
c'est ma bon exemple c'est là
non
faut pas nous exemple c'est là regardez nous paix non moi-même regarder porter moi-même et vous venez c'est on va regarder porter non tu pas regarder porter
non mes amis oh pas
américaine tu pas regarder porter
on pas craser discipline
non ça m'a dit là non n'a dit président mais m'a dit non si président ça qu'a fait si président c'est quand pour Ibrahim Traoré m'a tout côté m'a zam m'a sous côté on a dit là c'est comme ça me président parce que me connaît you have to listen we have to rule with an iron fist right that's what they say and non
on bye Richard
OK pas mettre sénateur pas mettre président pas mettre dans politique
n'a dit tout le monde qui était avec nous aujourd'hui hein. Je connais Betty qui a plus de questions pour Richard, mais si nous mettons...
Richard qui dernier mot pour audience dans la semaine.
You know what?
Volume 1, volume 2.
Yo dis pas nous peur, c'est pas pour nous non?
Bon dis nous ti ba, OK, si nous plus nan ba romance ba ça, on gen livre ça tout, nous gen doit checker, but livre ça m'de écrit yo pour m'ka ouvert yeux nous. M'de écrit yo pour at least ouvert porte là pour nous ka wè réalité devant nous, m'écrit li pour m'ka ba nous un sens de justice, un sens côté nous qu'arriver. C'est ça que fait me écrire livre ça. Les fini livre ça tout, n'ai besoin écrire n'importe pérez ou te gen en ou pour le sortir parce que eventually éventuellement ou va gen pour défendre tête tout parce que ça moun qui dans office qu'on sont fascistes liés on s'en là so sou pas camper so pas gen mettre grain dehors camper pour ou connaît pour défendre femme pour défendre communauté pour faire toutes sortes ou yo ma social media on connaît ça Instagram on connaît ça m'a dit moun yo fait on connaît pas cacher moi même me dit moun yo prend zam nous acheter un pile balle la caille ou connaît ça faire un plan avec famille amis son bagage passé me dit nous ça déjà moi même.
L'autre il prend zamio fait ça pour faire mais faut qu'on dise bien oui.
Non moi
faut nous dire parce que loi président la vinn avec connait nous obligés protéger tête nous protéger ti moun nous parce que sans ça n'a marché et n'importe bagage qui arrive nous faut que nous connaissons qui gens pour nous défendre tête nous.
Mais c'est ça c'est ça que fait me dire son fasciste qui dans office sans connait OK son fasciste sans ça monsieur là il y a 1500 volets 1500 racistes volets li lagé premier jour le président so ça veut dire ça ti volé ça premier bail qui saute dans bouche nan yon volé ça va l'acheter plus d'armes.
Attendez
et ça le dit
une question on connaît toute question c'est pas bon question pas une mauvaise question mais on seul bagage moi vle tout ça l'écrit pas supposé aller devant congrès.
No executive orders he doesn't no there's some things that he's going to have to go in from Congress with but again executive order le président l'entrée once they get elected, once they come into office, they like the pardons and stuff like that. Gen ba li gen executive power. They get executive power over them. So li pa besoin congrès, but when it has to do with the Constitution,
like the
birthright.
Okay.
Yeah, it has to do with the Constitution.
Okay.
Trump can't override the Constitution. So anything like he wants to change the birthright, Congress has to vote on that.
Le droit du sol en Napoléon. Le droit du sol.
Congress has to vote. Congress has to vote on that. It's not a Trump decision. It's not an executive decision.
Parce que c'est moi quand pile monde qui va comprendre même moi même tout l'elle fait executive order moi just pas yo rapide dit est-ce que c'est toute bagarre qui se pose rapide gen bagarre qui se pose aller.
You got to remember here's the thing. There is nothing original about Trump. OK? Trump tout bagay li joine yo c'est moun k'ap dirige c'est voler non l'autre côté. En France, si on parent t'es venu illégalement après ils font ti moun en France, ti moun lan pas citizen. OK? Li pas citoyen. De pour entrer pays illégalement. C'est là monsieur a suivre base ça il besoin venir implémenter but constitution américaine différent. De vous fait dans pays bon on pas besoin fait si me fait petit Haïti. Moi pas petit baptiste américain. On là c'est qu'on s'allier. So monsieur a venir on est bon même quoi Mélanie pas parler anglais non. Mélanie elle vole speech Michelle Obama. Moi me dit ouais tant qu'il pas parler anglais pour diable. Là elle vole speech madame Obama. Bon
vous savez pas Steven nous là. Elle lit nous supposé lire livre là.
N'a parlé de livre moi. Livre c'est des bails ça bon my book is very candid, right? So basically
it's honest. Merci Talia, merci pour information.
Basically, if you read these books, it's gonna open your eyes. It's gonna give you the sous tes peur ou pas peur encore. Si nous peur moi déjà dit moun regardez, pas prier moi pas bail. Si nous voulez aller parler à ancêtre nous pas là avec, pas le prier moi, maintenant bail Jésus nous. Pas venir dans des nous va prier, m'a besoin, OK? M'a besoin parce que si prière te marcher, Haïti tape devant parce que tout côté me passer dans le monde entier, pas gen moun qui prie que moun noir. Nous prend tête nous perdu non ba Jésus-Christ nous perdu tout côté nous oublier spiritualité nous et ça fait n'a passer misère comme ça.
Oui Betty mes amis quand Stephen Reed Jeanty
m'ba dit son nom blanc son vieux nom blanc il m'a rencontré le sorti et ba nom lié on blanc pour code fouet dans com.
Merci en pile mes amis.
Merci Jeanty.
Son livre mêlé.
Listen. That's why bon dit un petit ba bon petit blague. On de gon livre m'écrit qui The Most Dangerous Gang in America, the NYPD, right? 2008 Wendy Williams. I know you guys know who Wendy Williams is. Li invite m nan show là pour venir faire interview avec pour livre là. Quand il aime commencer par les mal de pollution, il change sujet pour l'autre livre. Il dit Wendy m'bat vinn là pour dire ça non.
L'autre livre pour porter ça seulement.
Yeah. So that's what she did. I said, don't bring me on your show if you don't want me to be candid, if you don't want me to talk the real, you understand?
Yes.
It's like for the Breakfast Club, like Charlemagne.
Charlemagne.
When I went on Wendy Williams, Charlemagne was just starting out. He was there. Charlemagne knows who I am.
Nice.
Jamais même dans show ça parce que le connaît m'a mettre dans place.
Tragique. Mes
Mes
amis,
amis,
oh.
c'est un plaisir, monsieur Jeanty, pour te gagner avec nous.
Non.
Pour te dédoubler dans le nous voyons tout dans mes noms.
Je ne sais pas si je suis sous, mais je ne sais pas si ça se passe là dans Sibérie.
God, don't whine, mon Dieu.
Don't worry about it. Les goûts. N'a dit Marika, nous pas voyer simple pour nous encore nous. We are looking for sponsors. Any businesses that is in Atlanta that's looking for a place to advertise your business, don't forget to call myself or Betty to be a sponsor for Sip and Read, because this is a show that goes in every month, the third Friday of every month.
You got to send me the link for the show because you know I have to give my mother and my father a heart attack. So send me the link so I can send it to them.
Well, we're going to do that. We're going to tag you in this episode. So, Betty, we're going to let Betty go. And
I appreciate you. I appreciate you guys having me here too, because we need to do this. But on it, communauté haïtienne a besoin ça parce que n'oubliez qui est nous yé. On a dit là, si nous devons oublier qui est nous yé, nous pas jamais arriver côté.
Eh bien, Jeanty, c'est ça fait nous gon place qui est le iSpace 2 Studio. Ou ka vin là, ou prend l'heure vle, ou parler de sauver, ou faire chauveler parce que nous bon opportunité dans iSpace 2 pour ka créer n'importe sauver. iSpace c'est pas pour on cholier, pas pour deux choses, son studio nous créé pour nous bailler communauté noire on voit. Nous avons toute l'autre nationalité qui prend avantage de lui, sous où ils sont bagay ko ta remé, prend opportunité pour venir faire show pour là, ou carré le politique, ou ka Jeanty Candide, les ka tout ou ka war jonvle.
Nous la vie non européen ça Jeanty.
Mais ça sous livre là.
Papa me la gueule dans dom papa, madame monsieur mais pas me la gueule dans dom.
Non. Zanset nous yo et puis après non zanset.
C'est ça vous faire, faut me changer Jeanty.
C'est non et puis
parce que m'pa ka ba crédit, n'a
pas
bataille
au Zulu.
n'importe africain, n'importe non africain. Bon m'di ou. Nous dal Bénin, pour me prendre pendant me Bénin, me prendre non africain me fouer dans dom. M'blier faire ça, but next time mal encore.
Yeah, l'on écrit Betty
No, I'm serious.
Your pen name.
No, I have pen names. I've written. You gotta remember, I've written like 24 books, so I use other pen names. I have a one in really different. Me trois différents pen names make sur yo, but c'est pas one. But c'est l'autre de style livre moi écrit. Chaque nom créé yo make un style de livre. On a besoin so m'baka use même nom yo, so m'bal créer un nom africain pour m'ka écrire livre empowerment yo. I have a book called Kwame, the American an American hero. Now I'm pour tout moun li livre ça tout parce que moun ça toujours mettre image au devant nous, yo toujours la gon vieux blanc. So nous-mêmes, non mon cher. Ah nous dominer tout, nous dominer moun yo dans toute bagarre, dans boxing, football, basketball. C'est tout moun noir qui te boy ici.
Restaurant yo dit qui relève voodoo hein.
Where's it at?
I think it's in Texas, Las Vegas or something like that. To go into that restaurant, the plates in there is $500. It's not just for anybody. Everything in there is designed like the voodoo.
Oh, okay.
I've
been to Vegas, but I've never gone in there. Bon m'di nou ti bay. Ouais, si blanc ou ta fait moun noir, tout moun noir qui te boy ici hein. Les al jouer basketball, c'est 2-2, basketball game not fini. Les al jouer football, 0-0 oui.
Eh bien, pour qui ça? Mes amis, on m'a dit ça, oui. Mes amis, monsieur Jeanty. On montre comment nous habillons nos bêtises. Nous habillons, on montre mon yo.
I messed up.
Mbad independent. Bêtises montre mon yo non.
M'blier. Sorry, I forgot to wear my Haitian gear. I'm sorry. I should have worn my Haitian gear. Yeah.
So, Jeanty, n'a dit merci.
Merci. M'apprécie ça tout, oui. M'apprécie nous having me, you know,
so what
next
do you
time.
think about the show? What would you tell us to do?
Nou vle mdi nou bay, nou vle honnête
Be
nan air la.
candid.
Oh.
Ah, c'est comme ça lié.
Gros glitch, tout ça gen là. Non, I'm joking.
Ouais, ça passe, ça arrive.
No,
Allô, bonsoir, Mirlande.
Listen,
Merci, chouchou, pour t'être monté sur la
a lot of people don't understand. When you have shows like this, it has to have a purpose. So, ça veut dire, faut moun nan, si moun nan joue information, ok, wap capter li. Si moun nan ka eri l besoin ri, wap capter li. On dit là, faut gon bagay nou offri, chaque temps nou font show, faut moun nan gen un caractère, there has to be some kind of charisma. Ou kon dit là pour moun nan ka capter audience, si nou bagen ça, si nou pon moun ki juste vinn parler.
And you did a great job.
Yeah, you
did a great job.
Thank
Jeanty.
you. I appreciate it. But come to, get one give me lie. You're supposed to have na bathroom avant là. Moun yo va vle tande ba comme ça. On s'am tout là. But this is, as long as you make it fun, you make it informative, people will stay tuned. That's
Now I have a question. Do you think we talked about the book enough?
No, we did not.
Okay.
I can't give up the plot.
Book.
You know what I'm saying? So I want people to read the book, and I want them to walk away feeling some kind of way, feeling differently, not just about the black community, the Haitian, but l'offre li ça, ou pas le deuxième part. Non, you're gonna regarder différent, hein?
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, parce que non, moi-même bonjour. I wrote the most dangerous gang in America, the NYPD, okay? And I used to have a Range Rover in New York. I wrapped the truck with the book cover. One combien fois arrêté m'yo pull over bae. M'pa yo. I'm not afraid to tell the truth about them. Parce que sou pa di vérité. Sou pa di moun yo vérité. Y a toujours quoi ça attendre dans média.
Mais on connaît yo ka Dr. Sebio. Parce que
non, je Dr. Sebi pas bien zam moi-même mon tirer mon bataille. Non mon cher Dr. Sebi fait la boue mon cher. Moi mon tirer mon bataille, m'pa moun. On non tout non. Dr. Sebi mais la voile pour ti médecin. Non mon cher m'pa voyer faire derrière moun. Non mais balou m'a pas gagner derrière le vinde.
Merci Talia. Talia said it's a nice show. Yo pas regarder show c'est zen yo aimé faire. Your pap got a show is too nice for them. Thank you so much for spending time with us. I hope you share the live. Milan, please share it so other people. Nous ba un pile belle information dans show. So n'a quitté Jeanty aller et puis moi-même avec Betty n'a fermé show pour
OK, merci. Ma apprécie nous ladies.
Alrighty.
Au plaisir pour nous.
All right, thank you. I have a
What a show, Betty. What a show.
This is how you start the year.
Let's give 5. Let's say it is cool.
Read.
And reading is cool. It is cool to read and reading is cool. We start the year with a bang. Thank you everybody for watching Sip and Read. It was an episode that what we wanted to discuss, A Time for Revenge. And we have the author, Monsieur Richard Jeanty. Et li parler, li ba nou pile information. So, sou pas gite nan show à nan commencement, n'a dit te gon en coupure nan commencement parce que nous te gen petit problème technique au cas ouais beginning of the show et puis ou pas ouais l'autre partie. Mais show ça tout le monde a supposé garder pour yo dire Betty qui soit apprendre
Oh my God, a lot because they parler de son livre d'histoire. Il vraiment parler de On Time for Revenge. Il parler comment que en tant qu'haïtien nous même doit supposé connaître qui est nous content nous.
Yes.
Il aller au-delà de haïtien, il parler de black en général. Moi, doit supposé lire ça.
Oui.
Il y a partie 1, il y a partie 2. Et que ne pense un délit seulement pour aujourd'hui, mais parce que nous définitivement intéressés à lire parce que c'est un livre qui a un mélange tout là-dedans. Il parle de l'histoire, il mélange avec l'amour, l'éducation. Il montre qui j'ai pour en tant que balak pour nous capable stand up, pour nous capable camper pour tête nous, pour nous capable avancer et progresser. Très 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 bon.
Et Talia ba nou on belle suggestion, li di nou te ka encourager viewers yo pour yo li livre lan et puis pour yo ba nou feedback yo. So n'a dit tout moun qui t'a regardé nous bien qui pral regarder épisode ça, fais nous grâce, allez dans Amazon, order livre lan et puis allez sur page nou qui c'est Sip and Read. Ba nous commentaire, dis-nous qui ça nous pense des livres là parce que n'a essayé mener authors pour chaque troisième vendredi dans mois. So second author ou t'a aimé faire partie de chose ça, relé Betty ou bien relé Lucita, nous excited pour nous gagner dans chose ça. Chaque mois. So Betty, moi quand dis moi comme moi contre. Bonne manière Richard back, yes.
Il y a un pile fougue, il y a un pile idée différente, ils sont un creator, il est vraiment pour ton bagage différent. Parce que il est capable de prendre dans différents angles. Définitivement c'est un plaisir pour te gagner. Et puis si vous pas gagner livre Legend de Dian, allez dans Amazon, allez dans website lien, order copy par là, contactez nous dans Sip and Read, nous avons bon copy tout sous besoin. So alors c'est ça. En gros, le staff, bon travail. Si bien bien commencé.
And it's cool to read. Reading is cool. And it's cool to read. So, nan not ça, Nabdou, next time.
Thank you.